Hello, my name is Andre Strange. I am the North America trainer for Eagle Eye Networks. And in today's video, I'll be discussing the Eagle Eye Bridge and its settings. For those that may not be familiar, a bridge is simply the on-site device that will replace your historical NVR DVR and serves as our gateway to the cloud. By optimizing the bridge settings, you ensure that you are maximizing and utilizing the proper bandwidth needed for the solution. And you also avoid any type of possibilities to hopefully lose data or video, or in worst cases, even purge. So to get started and update these settings, let's start at the Eagle Eye website at EEN.com, where we can easily and quickly get into the software or the VMS version where we can manage the bridge settings. To log into the VMS, you'll see the ability to do so at the very top right under the login option. We'll be looking at the classic version. And then once you're in, you'll be asked for your credentials. So you'll simply provide your email and password of choice. For today's session, I'll be using a demo account. So let's get logged in. Once you access the actual VMS, you look to the far left, you'll list a host of feature sets. We'll be looking at the dashboard option. When we get into the dashboard, you'll notice that you have all of your hardware here listed as line items. We're looking for the bridge itself, so we'll start with the very first line item, CF16. And to get to the bridge settings, you'll simply go to the far right and click on the gear icon. When you get here, you'll be presented with a few tabs across the top. We'll start with the very first one, which is our bridge. Under this tab, you can simply name the bridge and provide a time zone. More importantly, you get a chance here to decide how you want the bridge to transmit in terms of bandwidth. You have three options. You essentially can ask the bridge to take whatever percent of available bandwidth that it has from the customer's ISP, and you can allocate a certain number or a certain percent of bandwidth to that. So if I choose percent available, you'll notice I get this sliding bar, and I can allocate a specific percentage. This one's a little tricky in the sense that we know how internet speeds work. They're often very fluid, very up and down. So when you take a percent of what's available, that typically means that the experience will be very fluid and very up and down. So not one of our favorite choices there. Your second option is going to be what's called fixed. When you choose fixed, again, you get the sliding bar where you can allocate megabits per second. Okay. And this is a little more of a stable solution that should provide a more stable experience for the customer. The next option you have is what's called minimum bandwidth mode. When you choose this, essentially you're asking the bridge or the CMVR to essentially not use bandwidth unless you ask it to perform a specific function. Maybe that performance is something like retrieving video, right? Updating information in regards to who's on the account. But the moral of the story here is that if you're not asking the system to do anything, then bandwidth should be, for the most part, not utilized. If you like, you can certainly avoid the default and go with the schedule when it comes to offloading video and bandwidth. If you choose a schedule, again, you have multiple options. You can decide to offload video during your work hours, non-work hours, or you can choose a custom schedule, which is a popular feature set. When you choose custom, you'll get the sliding bar again. And now you can determine what hours you'd like to offload your high resolution video. It may make more sense for you to offload at night while everyone's not in the office. That way the network is not so saturated when you're looking to upload your video. Whichever you choose, please make sure this is an important section to fill out. Make sure that it's customized in a way that makes sense for you. Ultimately, we want to make sure that you don't lose any data or video during the process. The location tab allows you to provide the location name and address, etc., for the bridge itself. Something that may not be the hardest thing to find, but if you have multiple locations, this might be very good to keep track of to make sure you don't confuse yourself about where hardware is located. The metric section, if we slide over to the right here, will give you all of the metrics and details on how that bridge is performing. You'll notice you have several tabs that do a lot of tracking of the data for you. And while we won't go through all these tabs in this video, I do encourage you to utilize the question mark icon, which breaks these down and gives you real insight as to what each of these mean and what you're looking at. The local display tab will allow you to enable an RTSP stream, which does require a static IP address. Or if you were looking to just basically display things via the browser or monitor, you have those options, as well as which actual layouts are going to be available. Essentially, this particular tab allows you to display the things that you like while making sure the things that you're not so fond of are not displayed. And then there's a note section where you can capture additional information. All in all, this particular bridge settings are very important to do once you actually have your system in place. Typically, this is set up by your integrator. However, as an end user, it's important for you to understand what these things are, how they work, and then ultimately involve your integrator if you'd like to make some updates or changes you think make sense. If you have any questions about this, I'm happy to answer those. So please give us a call at the office where we can answer additional questions and make sure that you're set up for success. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.